Welcome back, you beautiful souls. This is James, also known as the Only Zer, and this is part one to What If Deku Had Zenkias, where we last left off our story. Our young protagonist finally started exhibiting weird key-based attacks, and well, he came home and he told his mother about everything, and she scheduled a court doctor's appointment. And well, it was in 2 days, so she called the school up and explained that Izuku's going to be out of school because his court came in yesterday, the previous day's afternoon. Because I'd say she would have waited until the next day to start scheduling this stuff, because no one calls a hospital for an appointment that late at night. So they go to the doctor and they say, hey, we don't know what to say, man. All the tests that we can run say that he's quirkish, but yet he has power, so we honestly don't know how his power will develop, man. He's unheard of. He's not really unheard of, but it is extremely rare for a person who would otherwise be quirkless to develop a quirk. And you see, and he pulls up a full body X-ray, and he points out the toes in Izuku's body. And Izuku says, yeah, but I have a quirk. And the doctor's like, yes, that's my point, young man. You do indeed have a quirk, but well, in their minds it's a quirk because they don't know about key-based attacks and stuff like that. But they explain to Izuku that he may be what is referred to as a first-generation quirk user. Basically, someone who developed a quirk for the first time in the family line, but considering his parents already had quirks, the doctor says it's weird. So it's deemed that Izuku has a mutation quirk because it's not really. It's not like It's not like either of his parents' abilities. So, from my understanding in the Hero Academia world, if a child doesn't have a quirk like either of their parents, they consider them to have a mutated quirk. And that's what's deemed with Izuku. So Izuku, he's a little upset about what the doctor says, in his mind, basically him getting called a freak again. But he's happy. He has a quirk. He has power. He can actually be a hero. So we cut to about a week before the start of the anime. So I put him at 8 when this happens. So 2 plus 5. So almost 7 years later, about 7 years later in our story, Izuku and Katsuki have pretty much, the first couple years, Katsuki still bullied Izuku, but he started to see Izuku, gain more and more power, and his abilities started to come in more. One day, I would say, when the boys, during one of their training sessions, Katsuki creates an explosion, and Izuku's like, crap, I can't avoid that. And then all of a sudden, he hears Katsuki's like, Izuku, what the hell, you can fly? And Izuku looks around, and he's starts freaking out. Then he looks down, and he's like, what? I'm flying. And in a moment he says that, he drops out of the sky and hits the ground with a large thud. as Katsuki comes running up to him. And he throws water bottle to it and is like, dang dude, keep developing weird stuff. I guess you can fly now. And I would say a year after that is when Katsuki actually learns how to fly, but using his explosions. And all the while, Izuku doesn't quite understand what he's doing. He's just doing some of these things out of pure instinct. It's not him doing it willingly or consciously. It's more like Gohan's first rage boost. All those actions Gohan didn't do like intentionally. He did those actions out of instinct. And that's basically what's going on with Izuku. Like, yeah, him and Katsuki do train, like, fighting each other, basically, is what their relationship's about. Kind of building, like, that whole Goku-Vegeta relationship. It's like, oh, I'm going to be the best that I can be. And Katsuki is like the Vegeta in the relationship. I'm going to get better just so I don't get left behind by you. Is basically what their relationship has kind of evolved into. They're friends for the most part, but they do get into arguments, and they do kind of, like, Katsuki does enjoy like getting into spars with Izuku, because every time they do, Izuku gets stronger, which in turn makes Katsuki stronger. And Katsuki's like goal is to one day to actually outright win against Izuku, no questions asked. So that being said, we cut back to the week before the start of the anime, and we start the story with Deku like stopping and exhaling and pulling a bottle out of the pack, and he takes a swig of water. And after that, he says, man, that hits the spot. Deku, get your ass up. We still have another mile or so to go. So get your sparkling ass up. As Katsuki walks over to him, Deku squeezes the water bottle and soaks Katsuki's face. And it's like, why you? Screeches Katsuki as he throws a punch. And Deku replies by sweeping his leg, and Katsuki also grabs Izuku's like other leg and creates an explosion, knocking him off his foot. The two begin to laugh, and think about like the past 5 years of their lives. And Izuku like just says, hey Kachan. Yeah, Deku. Well, it's funny, how much things have changed. And Katsuki can say, yeah, I know. Well, Deku, this is her last day in Japan for a while. Apparently you're going to be going off. And Izuku's like, yeah, I'm going to be gone for a couple of months. I'm going to go see Dad. And Katsuki's like, well, that would be fun. And then Katsuki says, well, as he's lifting Izuku up, Izuku gets off and might brush off. And then Katsuki's like, I still owe you for my jaw, says Katsuki, as he throws another punch. Deku catches it while flipping him over. And Katsuki again creates an explosion to knock Izuku's footing off. But when this happens, Katsuki lands on his arm, and when Izuku comes toppling down on him, his arm breaks. And Izuku is like freaking out this. He's like, Katsuki, I'm sorry. And Katsuki's like, you damn nerd. Like, why'd you have to break my arm? It was just a punch. You could have easily, dodged that. God. And Izuku like he just hears a voice. He hears a voice in his head. He just hears a voice that says, "Calm down." And then Izuku just has like this peace come over him, and Katsuki's like, "What are you doing, Deku?" As Izuku walks over to him, like basically putting his hands on his arm, and Izuku begins to glow. And Katsuki just feels this warmth, like shooting through his arm and then the rest of his body. And then Katsuki's arm, like, sort of glows a little bit. And Katsuki's, like, just, like, starts moving his arm. And he's like, "Deku, how'd you do that? Did you just heal me?" And I mean, when I say Katsuki's arm was broken, like, his elbow bent the other way. Kind of broken. So it wasn't like, oh, he broke his arm. No, this fool broke his arm. And Izuku's like, I don't know. I just thought if... Hard to explain, Kachan. Like, I'm sorry for breaking your arm. And Katsuki creates an explosion with it, like, kind of punching Izuku in the arm. And it's like, dude, heal my arm. We're even. In any case, don't think I'm going to be slacking off while you're gone. You better get stronger, because if you don't, when you get back, I'm going to beat you up. And Izuku kind of grins at this, and they both, like Izuku says, "Alright, 1.5 miles, you said. Let's get going. We should finish our training up before my mom gets, like, calling, and then, like, I get in trouble and all this other stuff, because she wants to spend as much time as she can with me, considering I'm gone for a couple of months with my dad." And Katsuki's like, "Yeah, Miss Midori, like your mom's, she's scary in a different way than compared to my mom. Alright, let's finish this little run up." So they finish, like, their run up. No, this would have happened 2.5 months before the start of the anime, because sorry about that, I got a little bit ahead of my notes. So it's not a week before the start of the anime, it's actually 2.5 months before the start of the anime. So we cut to a few days, like 2 days later, and Inko's kind of crying, like her and Izuku are getting everything packed up, and Izuku kind of walks up to his mom and he's like, "Mom, I'm coming back, like nothing's gonna happen, I'm just going to go see Dad and possibly, like, get some unique training in, because he's studying, like, this one culture. And he's found some pretty interesting information that kind of references my power a little bit. So, who knows? I may learn something about my quirk that we can't figure out." And he does think about telling his mom that he broke Katsuki's arm and then proceeded to heal it. So, yes, he's going to have ki-based healing, but it's not going to be like Dende's. It's going to be like a weaker version of Dende's healing. Like, it's not perfect. Like, they will still have, like, scars and stuff, but they will heal up. Now, the only reason why he was able to heal Katsuki's broken bones, like, almost instantaneously, because A, it was a clean break, and B, it was fresh. Like, the damage was fresh. Kind of using the concept with the sensu beans to where, like, they can heal any wound, but if it's already healed, like, say, future Gohan's arm getting ripped off, If he would have eaten a senzu bean like right away, he would have been able to grow his arm back. But since it's already healed now, a senzu bean won't be able to give him his arm back. Is the logic I'm following with this healing ability. And the whole time, and he's like, yeah, maybe I can figure out how to fly again. That was kind of weird. Because up until a little bit further in the future, Izuku, he only flew that one time. Like, he was clearly flying, or he was floating. Like, Izuku doesn't quite understand, and him and Kanchan have always tried to figure that out over the past couple of years. So Yinko's a little saddened, but she's like, okay, baby, but promise you'll call every afternoon before you go to bed, okay? So I know that you're safe. And Izuku's like, yeah, Mom, I know. And there's a beep, and he's like, well, Mom, the cab's here. I've got to get going or I'm going to miss my flight. And she's like, you got everything, right? You've got your clothes, you've got your ticket, right? And Izuku's like, holding the ticket and saying, it's like, yes, Mom, I've got my ticket. I'll be back in 2 months, Mom. Come on. Like, I got to get going. Sweetie, take this. And it's just like a few snacks. And Izuku's like, thanks, Mom. Thanks for everything. And no things haven't been difficult with Dad not being around and like my quirk and everything. And Inko's like, baby, you don't have to worry about that. So now we're going to skip with Izuku arriving to where his dad is. And Hasashi brings Izuku up to speed on the archaeological dig, and he's like, yes, Izuku, like, I found this tablet, and if I'm not mistaken, it describes a person that has similar abilities to you in, like, ancient times. And there, he brings Izuku to where, like, they have the tablet being stored and kind of looking at it. Basically, Hasashi's been trying to transcribe the text on it. And he was able to transcribe the script, and everyone around had transcribed it too, and they all agreed that it means a weird glowing light and pressure emanating from this warrior. And this shot off a light bulb in his head, and he's like, this could be talking about a quirk that's similar to my Izuku's. So he called Inko and Izuku up and explained it, and Izuku got excited. And he was taking a few tests early, like end of the year tests and exams and stuff early, so that he can leave early to like actually go spend time with his dad. Because I would say this is like the Christmas break. Like, he's going to be going over, and it's going to be during like the Christmas break, and he's going to constantly be doing like his work, and he will take the test when he gets, like, the final exam when he gets back, which will be at the start of the anime. So Hasashi brings Izuku to this tablet, and he's like, yeah, since we talked, we found a lot of stuff. It also mentioned the man could fly as well. And Izuku is thinking, it's like, should I tell Dad about that? And this is when Hasashi sees a concern, he just sees a weird look on his son's face, and he's like, Izuku, is everything okay? And he's like, nah, Dad, everything's fine. It's just several months, a couple of years ago, like, there's one day me and Katsuki were sparring, and I'm not mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I flew for like a few minutes. And then Sasha's like, wow, that's amazing. Why didn't you ever mention this before? And Izuku's like, well, I thought about doing it, but I only did it the one time, so it was probably like a fluke. But I have been trying to figure this out. So Izuku's in there every day with his dad trying to transcribe this title. And the more they figure out, the more it begins to sound like that this person had the exact same quirk as Izuku. In just reading this guy's abilities, like, he gives Izuku some ideas. So one day, he's reading up online because I would say he's still doing his classwork. He has to use the internet. So he's online and he finished up his schoolwork for the day, and then he began to think. It's like, well, wait a minute. He starts thinking about like the tablet and like his own abilities, and he's like, So he looks up like ways to increase one's like mind and one's mind and battle sense, and he finds that meditation has been able to work. So when he's not with his dad and he's not doing his classwork and he's not like training, like doing like his martial art, like the Deku style martial arts, because I would say him and Katsuki never really got formal training, besides like the occasional times that Masura would give them some karate instructions. Like Katsuki's father, because Katsuki's father is apparently a good hand-to-hand combatant, just not on like a hero level. So him and Katsuki developed like their own fighting styles, like basically fighting each other. Katsuki's more into grabs and punches. Deku's more into sweeps and pins. Because essentially Deku hasn't learned how to do Ki Blast yet. So he does spend the next couple of months trying to work on this, and he's been meditating, and he begins to think, like during one of these meditations, about like his energy, his quirk, and he begins to think, and he's wondering. He tries to move it through his body and condense it in a specific area. And as he does, like, he opens up his eyes and his hand is glowing in energy, and then it disappears. And Izuku's like, damn, okay, so I have to think like that. And he spends a couple more weeks and he's able to like actually keep it up a little, keep the glowing up, which is why Katsuki called him a sparkling ass, because he quite literally sparkles. Like, there's no other way to like really describe it. But if you can tell, like, start to feel different. So like his vacation comes and ends, and he says goodbye to his dad, and he's like, "It's been fun, Dad. You should come back home more often. Mom really misses you." And so she's like, "Yeah, I know, Izu, but I don't know what to say to her anymore. Like, this is like my work is my work, but my family is my family." And he's like, I'm fine, Dad. Like mom's great. She's doing fine. She's happy. It's just she doesn't she doesn't say, but I can tell she misses like going on dates or being around you. So you should come home more often. And Izuku says his goodbyes to his dad at the airport as he's boarding his flight. And when he gets home, he comes in through the door, and his mom like just grabs him and picks him up, and proceeds to like kiss his forehead. And it's like, Izuku, you're back. And Izuku's like, yeah, Mom. If anything, I'm a little jet lagged. And I have a couple exams to take tomorrow, so I'm just going to go up and get some rest. That night, Izuku has a dream of a log cabin again, and he notices more and more that the waterfall definitely has a rhythm to it, and he begins to think, and he's like, huh. So in his dream, he's listening to the waterfall because the main's no longer there, and it looks like a place has been abandoned for years. At least from his perspective, it looks like the place has been abandoned for years. But the strange thing is, none of like the bushes and stuff are overgrown. But then he's like, "Hey, this is a dream. Whatever." So Izuku begins to look at the waterfall, and he's thinking, and he starts to feel weird, and like his body, like he sits and decides to like meditate by it, and he begins to feel like warmth throughout his whole body, and he wakes up and he's like, huh, that's a pretty strange dream. I hadn't had the dream about the log cabin and the waterfall in a long time. So he gets up and he puts on his uniform, and as he gets to the school, he hears a loud Deku as he turns around and he kicks Katsuki's hand, knocking it up, causing the explosion to go off into the sky. And Izuku's just standing there smiling, and he's looking, and Katsuki's smiling too. And he's like, huh, you did get stronger. This is going to be fun. Well, in any case, Deku, don't you have a bunch of tests to do? You should get going. So, Izuku goes into the school, and he meets up with his teacher and, like, a few of his teachers to, like, get somebody, to find out that he's actually going to be taking all his exams today because he missed one yesterday that he was supposed to do. So he takes his test, and then he goes to like his homeroom class, and everyone's like, Deku, you're back. And he's like, yeah, I had to go see my dad for a couple of months and everything. And he's like, these people. Selfish people, whatever. So after class, Katsuki comes up and he's like, Deku, you want to hang out today? Me and the guys were going to go to the arcade. It's been a while since we actually like hung out. And Deku's like, nah, I actually got an exam I was supposed to come by yesterday to do, and well, I've got to do it after class today. Like after school today. And so Izuku does do his exam, and he heads home, and he takes a shortcut, and he just comes under an overpass, and he's thinking, and he's like, last night when like the waterfall, it's rhythm. And as Izuku is thinking this, he notices he can't breathe. And when he actually comes to, he hears like there's like this sludge all around him, and then he just hears, "Damn it, kid! I didn't know he was in town. Just stop fighting and resisting. I need your body, kid. I need your body, kid, to escape." So, he's struggling. He manages to get away from the sludge villain just because he's from pure strength. And he's like, "Dang it, you're strong. Definitely a good horse. Give me that body." As he launches to like Izuku, and Izuku thinks like, "Crap, he's really fast." And then he hears, "There's no need to fear, for I am here." And Izuku just feels a gust of wind come by him. Sorry. He feels a gust of wind come by, and he's like, "All Might, you're All Might." And All Might's like, "Haha, kid, you did good well. I saw you, like, escaping from the villain. You're really strong. Must have an amazing quirk." And he's saying this as he's, like, and after he says this, he goes to pick up. And he's like, oh my, can I have your autograph?" And it's like, "Just one moment, let me finish this up." As he finishes picking up the rest of the sludge and putting it into a soda bottle. He puts it in his pants, and he walks over to the young man and grabs the pen and signs his notebook. Because I would say Izuku, like... So Izuku, is kind of fanboying, and All Might then says, like, "I've got to go, young man. I've really got to go." Because he's running out of his time limit. And Izuku is... he grabs onto, like, All Might, and All Might looks down as he's jumping off. And Izuku, he's like, "Oh my, I'm sorry, I didn't know, but I really got to ask you a question." And so All Might's like, "Crap." And he lands on the rooftop. In the whole him becoming Small Might happens, and Izuku's like, "Oh my, what happened?" And All Might's taken aback by this. He's like, "You're not surprised at this?" And Izuku's like, "No, like, you're definitely All Might. I saw you once when I was a little kid, and I can't... it's hard to explain. It's like I can feel other people. Like, and you feel like the same man I felt like those many years ago. So you're definitely All Might, but what happened?" And All Might explains the situation to Izuku. And Izuku, like, begins to think. He's like, "Whoa, All Might, you asked what my quirk was." And Izuku explains what he can do. And then he walks up to All Might, and he's like, "I can also do this." And Izuku's hands begin to glow as he touches, like, All Might. And All Might can feel a sharp pain in his stomach, and Izuku kind of, like, collapses a little bit. All Might buffs back up and then buffs back down. And he's like, "Young man, what did you just do to me?" And Izuku says, as he's getting up, like, kind of winded a little bit, it's like, "I couldn't heal you completely, but that should at least give you, like, a couple of more hours, like, in your time limit. But you should probably rest for the rest of the day, otherwise you can re-injure yourself. Kind of learned that the hard way, like me and my friend Kachan learned that the hard way." And at this, they hear a loud explosion, and All Might's like thinking. He looks down, and he's like, "Shoot!" And he takes the stairs, the whole thing. Because All Might did tell Ezekiel, like, after the little short exchange, that you can be a hero if you keep training. And then before All Might completely gets out of sight, Izuku can hear him yelling, "And kid, with that ability of yours to be able to heal people, you'll definitely become a top-ranking hero if you keep training." Izuku's happy, so he walks over to the edge and he's like, "Well, I should probably go see what that is." So as he's getting there, he's hearing people say, "Why aren't the heroes doing anything? They're just standing there looking." And Izuku's looks and sees the situation, and he's like, "No, it's the sludge villain. Why aren't the heroes doing anything? Yeah." And then he hears one of the heroes say, "Damn it, he's got a kid, and our quirks aren't suited for this." And Izuku's like, "Wait, he has a hostage?" And he's looking, and he's thinking, "No, someone's gonna get hurt because of me. If it wasn't for me and distracting the All Might." And then he sees familiar face, and him and Katsuki meet eyes, and people just feel this great pressure, and a few of them get pushed back, and all of a sudden they just see this blur flying past them, and then they see the boy is no longer in the sludge venom. They see this other boy holding on to him, falling from the ground from way up. And then you just see the explosion boy kind of grab Deku and create explosions as he's coming down. And then all of a sudden people hear, "I am here. You attacking a child, not once but twice in one day. I'm sorry, heroes," and doing the whole heroic thing. "You should be getting out of here right about now. Texas Smash!" And unlike in canon, Katsuki's not pissed off about getting saved. After Izuku kind of comes to, he's like, "Damn, Deku, you came in just the time I was about to pass out there. If it wasn't for you, I probably would have died. Or at least been knocked out. Whatever you think. Thanks, Deku." And the heroes begin to praise Katsuki for lasting so long and still have enough energy. And Tanya's like, "Dude, that whole flight thing that you did with your explosions, you used your quirk in a way that some people wouldn't even think about doing. That's amazing." And Katsuki's like, "Whatever." And he hears some of the pros telling that he's reckless. And he just walks up to the pro, looks him dead in the face. He's like, "Man, shut the hell up. If it wasn't for my friend, I would have been dead. You guys just stood there doing nothing. You didn't think about a situation of how to use your quirk to help someone that was in trouble. All you thought about was taking out the villain. You didn't think about how to use your quirk to actually accomplish the goal of doing the number one thing, saving the civilian." As he grabs Deku's hand and says, "Deku, let's get out of here. These losers don't deserve any more of our time." And everyone's thinking, "Damn, that kid's rude." And All Might's just kind of chuckling and turning away. It's like, huh. So on the way home, Katsuki's actually like, "Deku, you flew again." And Izuku's like, "I don't know. It's just when I saw you, I couldn't. I had to do something, and before I know it, I was flying right to you, and I couldn't stop, and I almost hit the wall. So I thought about going up, and I don't know, Gachan. It's weird." Sorry about the interruption, but I had a guest walk in. And I believe Izuku and Deku and Katsuki were on their way home. And Izuku explains how things what he discovered about his abilities. Apparently several thousands of years ago, like some individual had like similar abilities to his. And Izuku, like, and Katsuki just hear a loud thump, like, behind him. And they see, All Might, and they're like, All Might, you, what? And then, like, Deku is saying, All Might, you're here. What are you doing here, All Might? And Katsuki's like, All Might? All Might is here. Wait, what? Deku? And then All Might deflates. And Katsuki's like, you're an imposter. You know, it's like, oh, calm down. If I remember correctly, you were called Bakugo, right? Well, it's great both of you are here. I saw how you handled yourselves back there. And, well, he looks at Deku, and he's like, young man, thank you for helping out with this, because he explains to Katsuki what had happened. And Katsuki's just, like, punches Izuku in the arm, and he's like, you jerk. And then All Might's like, he takes an eye at this, and he's like, huh. They already seem like they're proper rivals. This should be good for them. Then. And he's like, well, young man, I want to train you two. So, All Might explains that he wants to train the young man. Like, more so that he's kind of impressed with Katsuki. He's like, Bakugo, you did something that was probably very interesting with your quirk. You seem very controlled, a little brash, and you need some more refinement. And he turns to to Deku, and he's like, young Midoriya, you gave me a little bit of help, and I wanted to ask, how often can you do that? And Izuku's like, well, All Might, to tell you the truth, like, I've only done it one other time, as he's looking at Katsuki's, like, elbow, and Katsuki's, like, punches Izuku in the arm again, and he's like, yeah, that really hurt, Deku. If you would have healed it, And Izuku's like, yeah, and this time I didn't pass out. And Izuku says he doesn't really know what it is, but he thinks it has to do with his stamina. And so All Might's like, well then, I definitely want to offer you two some training. You two need some direction, because it seems like your fighting style, referencing like young Bakugo after seeing some footage that had been taken. So he turns to the two of them and he's like, so, do you two want some training from the number one hero? As he buffs back up into his big knife. And they both say yes. So he gives them directions to Dagobah Beach and says, meet me here this weekend and your training will begin. And he looks and he's like, young Bakugo, do you mind if I speak with young Midoriya alone for a few minutes? And Katsuki's like, yeah, oh my, and thank you for the training. As he's runs off like that to his home because he's like, oh crap, Mom saw the news. And Izuku's like, oh my, what did you want to talk to me about? And All Might's like, I wanted to talk to you about the healing. You said you've only done it one other time. Is it possible that you can heal more? And Izuku's like, I think I can. It's just, I did what I could do at the time, and it takes a lot out of me. So, this is where I'm going to end this part. Thank you, beautiful souls, for the contributions over Discord, because occasionally, one thing I'm going to start doing, there's going to be some series that won't have a lot of viewer a lot of viewers' input. But in this one and a few others, I will constantly pick the minds of the viewers, like with certain ideas in key aspects of the series over Discord. There's also a ongoing series that I have planned out to where the viewers are going to make all like the big major decisions and plot for this. Like you have option A or option B. I'm still going to be working on that, and that's going to be voted for over on Discord. So that's another reason to join Discord, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. Again, thank you, beautiful souls, for the 2K subs, and I will try to get that out tomorrow. It's just I literally cannot write the Hero of Two Worlds. So I'm doing a new one called What If Deku Had a Techno Core? And I have this one pretty much done. The Hero of Two Worlds, I'm having an issue writing the script for part 0. And the Techno Core one is pretty much already penned and written down. I just have to come up with dialogue between the characters and how they interact first episodes, and that's not that too hard to do. That being said, thank you again for the 2K subs, and I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.